Okay, I was going to take a minute to talk about something that I noticed a while back, and I've been kind of watching something. Uh, you know, everybody said, "Oh, it's going to be a close race. Oh, it's going to be neck and neck." You know, in this political garbage. Though the Democrats seem like, boy, they got it sewed up, and they got polls that show, oh man, they're really. But it's funny. Uh, you know, like on my videos, I never have the likes or dislikes turned on, or at least they're not public. I mean, I see them if I bother to look. I mean, they're there. But I average, it's like a 98.7 likes to one dislike, you know, that kind of thing. It's a very small amount. You know, you always have some because there's people that I have blocked, which are always going to dislike every video. You know, it doesn't matter what it is. So they're always there. Though once in a while one slips by them, so I get the 100% then. But it's irrelevant, really. Normally, though there is a thing about that whole like-dislike thing, it is a bit of a weather vane, kind of, to show you kind of the leaning of people at times. And I've been watching some of these videos, political stuff. This is kind of a survey I've been taking here. And even on, like, ones that are done by networks, just puff pieces on the candidates. You know, but it's networks that are really pro-democratic. And on Google, which is certainly pro-democratic, and still the dislikes to the likes is just wacky out of proportion compared to what they're claiming in these surveys. You know, when the comments are something else altogether again. But they're, I don't know, they're kind of lying to themselves here. I think they got to kind of brace for a hell of a surprise, because reality is going to come stomping in on them. Because there are so many people who are just really turned off by the Democrats. I mean, even people who consider themselves to be Democrats, but want nothing to do with their ticket. You know, and I don't think they're, you know, I like I say, I don't know where their surveys are coming from, but when I look at the dislikes to the likes ratio, you know, they should look at that, because that tells you something there. You know, because it's often, normally the dislikes are at least double of the likes, if not a lot more. So that's kind of hard to get around. You know, like I say, I don't know who they're polling. It's a constant complaint. People say, I don't know where they're getting these polls because nobody's calling me. When it's true, you know, I have a sneaking suspicion their polls are done like in California or in New York or something, but they aren't getting a very accurate cross-section of what people really think. But if you look at them likes and dislikes, or read in the comments, you get a pretty good glimpse of what the future holds for them. It is not good. But I think a lot of times in these kind of situations, it's the people, like say the people that are running, all the people around them, the people that they listen to, are all in theory on their side, so they get a very one-sided view of what's actually going on. They really don't understand what the real general public thinks of these things. But I think they're really missing the boat on this one. You know, because even that vice presidential candidate they drug in there, she is not very well liked. She, you know, because people were kind of willing to hope that Biden wasn't crazy, and hope that he would come out of whatever funk he's in. But then they bring her on and try to pass her off as being a black moderate. That ain't flying at all. I mean, black people greatly dislike her. She's really not very well liked. I mean, they have a hard time. They do these little puff pieces on her, but they really struggle. And the likes and dislikes on them really tell you the story. But it's a funny deal because, they plow ahead. I think it's wishful thinking, evidently, that they think, oh yeah, we're ahead, but well, they got to get some different polls they're looking at. Of course, they've done that before, with Hillary, man. She had her all sewed up. But, because even as nutty as these people are, in their party is the real far left kooks. And they don't go for her, or either one of them, because they aren't near far enough left. Like the Bernie Bros, that whole pack. This ain't gonna fly. I'm surprised they can't see this. It should be very obvious, but I mean, if you just look at the likes and the dislikes, it tells you something. My theory, I've never, some videos I don't have them on either, like I don't, but my theory is that you shouldn't really go into a video saying, okay, if there's so many dislikes on this video, like there's times where you see a video that's half and half, likes, dislikes, and then you got to watch this thing trying to figure out what in the world got everybody fired up to dislike it that much, because that's a pretty large amount, But I always think you should kind of go with an open mind into something and work from there. But that's really telling, when you see that ratio that keeps showing up. I don't think they got a chance in hell, but, even with their whole big post office carrying on thing, that ain't the problem. The problem is you're running on a really bad platform. It's funny, but you'd think that reality would set in sometime. Sometime it has to cross their mind that, boy, we are screwed. But it doesn't seem to. I mean, I think it's just a false confidence, but maybe they build each other up to believe this nonsense. But I guess I'm not too worried about them, because I don't think they get a chance in hell. Which is good, for the country. Like I say, I'm not fond of Trump, but my God, I certainly don't want to go that direction. It is too bad that they don't have a decent third-party candidate. Now is the time for somebody like Ron Paul. This is a hell of a time for him to quit running. Because I watch his show, fairly often. Yet, he's got a thing that keeps going. And he's still sharper than either one of these other idiots, but I think he just got tired of running. But people get hooked into this, boy, it's got to be a Republican or a Democrat. And I know I heard some whispering about somebody saying, my God, bring Jesse Ventura back. I swear, if you can't run somebody now, somebody with half a brain and win, then there's never a chance of getting away from this two-party system. But it's something else to watch. But it's just interesting to see that they have this great confidence that they're really tearing her up, and all you got to do is look at the proportion of likes and dislikes, and it kind of tells you what the general public is thinking. It is not good. And in the comments, so many people who say, I'm a Democrat, but no way in the world am I that kind of Democrat. So either they won't vote or they'll hold their nose and vote for Trump. But it's a weird situation to be in, but they got to get different people working on their campaigns if that's the best they can come up with. And they got to look at reality. I mean, sometimes reality has to sink in, but because I think they are really screwed, which is fine. It's just that they make it sound like this is going to be a close contest. I don't think this is going to be close at all. I think this is ridiculous. Well, as long as I'm yapping, I'll say something else that was bugging me today. Okay, now, one of these last ones that said something about, well, maybe this would keep their mind off of Syria. No, we had to go in there again, take a little poke at Syria. We want that oil. So we're defending, in somebody else's country, we're defending this oil patch that we kind of feel is ours. So we have no right to even be there. So they got in a little battle with the Syrians. And so we claim the oil, we're going to take the oil. We don't really need the oil, the oil isn't for us, the oil is for Israel. But we got to protect this oil company that's going to take that oil, and they're going to give some money to the Kurds so that the Kurds can buy weapons from the United States, which is really not going to work out. I mean, how many times them Kurds want to be hung out to dry, and we're going to do it again. But it's so Israel can get oil. In the meantime, we're buying oil from Russia. As much as we talk down Russia, since we can't get oil out of Venezuela, where we used to get all the oil, a lot of oil, now we're buying from Russia. People say, oh, the oil comes from Saudi Arabia. We buy as much from Russia as we do from Saudi Arabia. The majority of our oil comes out of Canada or Mexico. But we figure that oil in Venezuela belongs to us, to the point that we seized 4 tankers going to Venezuela with oil. We seized them, and I think they hauled them into Texas. They're ours. We're pirates now. I don't know what the hell the deal is. But I was hoping maybe this other stuff would keep that kind of nonsense off their mind. But nope, they got to go at it. And even, okay, well, there's that explosion in Lebanon. We're always talking Russians down, but by God, when that happened, the Russians have teams trained for this kind of thing, and boom, they were in there doing their damnedest to find survivors, helping. They do this all the time. When there's earthquakes and landslides and stuff, the first ones in there are the Russians, and they're there to help. There's no strings attached. Now, of course, we said, well, we'll kind of help in Lebanon here, but we've got little conditions in here. We can't just be a good neighbor kind of thing. No, we got to have some little conditions involved in this, which ends in a deal like Ukraine. But it's a hell of a way to play, on the world stage. We're just getting a bad reputation. But to start pirating oil ships, yeah, that's a smart move. That's got to look good.